تولوا فإن نوحا وآل إبراهيم فإن الله إن الله على العالمين ذرية جميع آدم ونوحا وآل إبراهيم من بعض إذ قالت امرأة إنك أنت السميع فلما وضعتها قالت والله أعلم بما وضعت مريم وإن الشيطان وأنبتها نباتا حسنا كلما دخل
As a nation, we've created a home for the refugees within our very own homeland. ये लोग हसास हैं, बेकसूर हैं, बिल्कुल आप और मेरी तरह. There are 68 million displaced persons in the world today. That means one person being displaced every 2 seconds. 85% of these displaced persons are not being hosted by North America or Europe, but by a small handful of developing countries, Pakistan amongst them. The international community has to come together to support the refugees and the host communities in Pakistan. So let's all join hands to protect and support these uprooted people who have fled violence and persecution in their homeland.
Minister Afridi, the Honourable Minister for States and Frontiers Regions, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for attending this event, Frontiers and States and Frontiers Regions. So thank you very much for being here. As Shandana has said, the 20th of June refugee being a child. But this is not just a statistic. These are almost 71 million individual tragedies, broken lives, shattered dreams, lost hopes with no solution in sight. And as the Honourable Minister himself said 2 days ago in a meeting, this could have been any one of us. And this is something we do need to remember every time we see these heartrending images on our video screens and in our social media networks. Your Excellency, ladies and gentlemen, while the displacement has increased significantly in the last 12 months, solutions have equally dramatically decreased. So while we had some 14 million newly displaced persons in 2018, less than 3 million were able to return home last year. And I think no country knows this better than Pakistan, which has for the last 40 years hosted millions of Afghan refugees on its territory, making it the second largest refugee hosting country in the world. And perhaps no person is more familiar with this than the Honourable Minister himself, whose own constituency, Kohat, hosts almost 70,000 Afghan refugees who have been living side by side with their Pakistani brothers and sisters for over 3 generations. Unfortunately, ladies and gentlemen, there's no child in this world who ever says, when I grow up, I want to be a refugee. There's no refugee in this world who ever says, I like being a refugee and I want to remain one. So while today is not a cause for celebration, it is a day where UNHCR can give thanks. First of all, our gratitude to the government of Pakistan for having lived up to its commitment to provide asylum to millions of refugees on its territory for over 4 decades, despite significant political, economic, and social challenges. Second, our thanks to the people of Pakistan for their tremendous generosity and compassion that they have shown to the refugees living amongst them for 40 long years. Our thanks to all our partners, but especially the NGOs, the business leaders, and the civil society of Pakistan for their incredible commitment and dedication to improving the situation of refugees. Some of them are present here today, and I do want to thank them because much of the work they do is unrecognized and much of it is carried on behind the scenes. Also, our thanks to the donor community, some of who are present here today as well, for continuing to fund refugee programs in Pakistan. I know that the temptation is great to fund new and emerging refugee situations which grab the hearts and the international headlines. And while the needs of those refugees are extremely compelling, the needs of refugees in situations of protracted displacement are equally compelling and must be met. And finally, and perhaps most importantly, our thanks to the refugees themselves for their remarkable courage in the face of great personal tragedy and adversity, for their resilience, and for their unwavering belief that even after so many long years of exile, they and their children face a better future one day back home in their own country. Thank you very much.
If you could please also not make any private mobile videos.
with every single one of you. I was born here. It's been 25 years since my family moved from Afghanistan. They left the country because of war and they came here in Pakistan to live a safe life. And I consider Pakistan as my second home because I'm 17 years old, so in my whole life it gives me joy, and I never felt like I'm away from my country. I never felt like I'm in a neighbor's country. I'm away from Afghanistan and I must go back. My brother is 25 years old. When my family came to Pakistan, he was a newborn baby and now he's 25. So that's really amazing when I realized that our life, we'll spend our life here. And actually, I'm really happy to be here because first of all, we are safe here. We don't have any risk. We are not scared. We don't have any fear in our heart. When we leave the house, our parents won't be worried. Maybe my boy, he's going away. I hope he will not get killed. And the most important thing is the education, because we don't have the facilities in Afghanistan, unfortunately, to get education. So I'm one of those lucky children that got a chance to study here and learn something. I'm currently studying at Sena Institute located in Ayat, and it's been like 3 years since I joined the institute, and the way they interacted, the way the teachers acted with me, the way they worked hard to make sure that I can learn something was really, I was really happy. First I thought, well, I'm a stranger here, maybe they'll ask me where are you from and they won't behave well with me, but they didn't even ask where are you from. They just said you're lucky here to share my thoughts with you guys, and I want to say thank you so much for your time, and I hope it was not boring. Thanks so much.
For coming your way. And to count my blessings, Dafi is one of them. Salamuna and a very good morning to you all. My name is Farzana. I am one of the fortunate students who have been awarded under the Dafi scholarship program until 2018. I did my matric and FSc from Pharmacy from Commerce University, Ahmedabad, Islamabad. To become a bright student, compete and sustain your position is not something served in a plate, but rather earned. Me being Afghan national have worked hard to achieve that sustainability in my life. I have 8 sisters and 3 brothers. Being a part of such big family, I had to work hard from very early age to support my father. I have been position holder throughout my school, high school, and then got bronze medal in D Pharmacy from my batch with a CGPA of 3.63. Dafi is a true inspiration for me. I don't have words to express how much honored I am to once have been a part of this scholarship program. It was not easy for me, being a female, to pursue education in a society which is male dominant and where women are culturally bound to stay at home due to societal pressures. I had to go through adverse challenges.
So, Pakistan دا ټول سہولتونه موږ ته برابر کړل. پاکستان زموږ ډېره ښه میزباني وکړه. نو موږ د پاکستان ګورنمنت د میزبانۍ شکریه ادا کوو او په خوا کې الحمدلله زموږ مهاجرون هم تر اوسه پورې چې دلته دا سرور لسیزې تېرې کړي دي د انصارو سره د ورورولۍ په قسم ژوند تېر کړی دی، خو تر اوسه پورې داسې یو لویه واقعه نه ده راغلې چې هغه نړیوالې سطح باندې میډیایي شي او ووایي چې ولا انصار او مهاجر سره دغسې یو ستونزه پیښه شوې وه. دا د دواړو د هغه ورورولۍ او د ښه ګاونډیتوب ثبوت دی انشاءالله.
It was in the year 1979 when we became refugees, and when I came to Pakistan I was hardly 24 to 5 years old. And people, including myself and many of the people like us, have always been supported in Pakistan, and particularly in the area of health and education. And there has never been an untowardly incident that we've ever faced. which is because of the government, the generosity of the government and the people of Pakistan.
زمونږ د دواړو هیوادونو ته دا خاص دي چې دلته د ورورۍ فضا جوړه کړي. زمونږ ډېرې سره رشتې نږدې دي، زمونږ عقیده، مذهب، کلچر، فرهنګ د هر څه سره یو دي. نو د دې ټولو سره سره زمونږ مشرانو ته هم دا پکار دي چې زمونږ دا د ولسونو په نزدېکت کې په یووالي کې سره هڅه وکړي.
I would like to request the people as well as the governments of Afghanistan and Pakistan that the environment of brotherhood should always be promoted, given the fact that the people of Afghanistan and Pakistan share the same religion, faith, culture, and we've got close ties and relationships amongst ourselves. And in the same spirit, the environment of brotherhood should always be promoted.
مونږ داغه ملکونو هم شکریه ادا کوو کوم ملکونه چې تر اوسه پورې په دې څلورو لسیزو د هجرت په دیار کې موږ سره مرستې کړي دي. موږ په تعلیم کې، په صحت کې، په نورو بخښونو کې زمونږ په سکل مطلب کې یعنې کسب او کار کې زمونږ سره تعاون کړی دی. نو موږ د هغې هم شکریه ادا کوو او مزید د نورو مرستو خواست کوو چې دغه کمې دي، ځکه چې څلور لسیزې وشولې زمونږ تقریبا 80 یا 15% ځوانان بېروزګاره دي. دلته موږ ماشومان راځي، پیدا کېږي، غټېږي، زلمي کېږي، خو کار خو نشته. موږ ته خو دلته سرکار کار نه راکوي، نو طبعا هغه اوزګار پاتې کېږي. د هغوی دپاره دغه کسب و کار ضرور دی چې دغه خلکو دپاره دوی مزید فنډینګ وکړي او دوی خلکو دپاره د کسب و کار زمینه برابره کړي او دا زموږ ځوانان د دغې په ځای چې هسې عبث وګرځېږي په ورزش په میدان کې، دغسې د نور د خپل د رزق پیدا کولو په حلاله روزي ګټلو کې د خپل خپو باندې ودرېږي او کسب او کار یاد کړي. دا هم موږ سره د دوی باندې یو غوښتنه ده چې دا څنګه چې مخکې کړې وه بیا یې دې هم جاري وساتي.
I would like to take a moment and thank all the donor nations, the different countries that have been funding for the betterment of the Afghan refugees in Pakistan. So I would like to thank them all. And also, apart from health and education, another issue that we face right now is the Afghan youth that is jobless in Pakistan. And through this forum, I would like to request the donor community, the donor nations, to do something in Pakistan so that the unemployed could be given jobs, so that they can become self-reliant.
څنګه چې وختي زموږ دا بچې ډافي سکالرشپ باندې خبره وکړه، نو زموږ ډافي سکالرشپ صرف زموږ درد نشي دوا کولی. ډافي سکالرشپ کم دی، دغسې د ډافي سکالرشپ په څیر باندې نورې هم زموږ دپاره پکار چې دغه تعلیمي ساحه پراخه شي او زموږ دغه کم تعلیم چې UNHCR اوس موږ له راکوي د شپږمه پورې، نو د شپږم تعلیم مخکې دا د 12 بیا 10 شو راکو شو، همداسې راکوزېږي، خلک مخ په بره روان وي، موږ په خطر را روان یو. موږ د شپږمه پورې دغه نو موږ دا غوښتنه ده چې د دې نه بېرته بیا دا عزم وکړي، بیا قصد وکړي او دا خلک نور د دې دپاره فنډینګ وکړي چې زموږ دا تعلیم مخ په وړاندې لاړ شي. او دغه بله غوښتنه هم زموږ د خپله د پاکستان د ګورنمنټ نه دا ده چې زموږ د تعلیمي ساحه پراخه کړي. دا زموږ ځوانان چې کله په یونیورسټو کې یونیورسټي لیول یا کالجونو لیول باندې دوی دلته تعلیم وکړي، سبق ووایي، نو طبعا دا چې په اعلی تعلیم باندې ارسته شي په وطن کې، په خپل هیواد کې دوی په اعلی عهدو باندې فایز شي، نو بیا د هغې ملکونو سره کم ملک چې تعلیم شوي د هغې ملکونو روابط ریلیشنشپ ډېر ښه وي، ځکه چې هلته دې خپل کلاس فیلو وي، خپل دوستان وي، ملګري وي. نو په دغه وجه باندې که موږ ته دا موقع پراخه شي، تعلیمي ساحه موږ ته پراخه شي، نو زموږ دا بچي به ښه تعلیم وکړي، په آینده کې به زموږ د ورورولۍ او دغه فضا نور هم زیاته او خوشګواره شي.
In the context of the education sector, I'd like to say that DAFI is a very good initiative that provides scholarships at the university level to Afghan students. However, in this regard, I would also like to say that the education space needs to be expanded and the Afghan youth and children need to be further given the opportunity and facilitated towards education. And I'm thankful to UNHCR for providing education till the primary level in the camps. However, I would also want to request that it should go beyond the primary level and up to the secondary or other levels of education so that everybody could be educated. And I say this because I believe that when these people, they get educated here and they make friends and connections here in Pakistan and then eventually go back
In scene 2, the refugees were entering at the same time in huge numbers in a very vulnerable condition, with open wounds, torn clothes, dried lips from tears, and mud-covered faces. But the campus provided them a sense of security and protection to their family, which was a brief after such a long journey.
ये है अफगान कौम के फूल जिनकी खुशबू से मुअत्तर रात सरजमीन पाकिस्तान है। रंग बिरंगे मलबूस, दमकते चेहरे और सितारा आंखें इन कैंपों में मुस्तकबिल के ख्वाब बुनती हैं। मुहाजिरीन के आलमी दिन को अगर पाकिस्तान में अफगान मुहाजिरीन का दिन कहा जाए तो कुछ गलत ना होगा। ये है इस्लामाबाद से घंटे भर के मुसाफर पर बनी एक फिल्म के बाद से।
वो सुकून मेरे ना कारोबार है ना कोई सिस्टम है इधर शुक्र अल्हम्दुलिल्लाह। हम अफगानिस्तान में हम आ जाएगा ना मैं फिर खुद जाएगा वापस।
8 साल से दुकान में काम कर रहा हूँ अपने भाई के साथ और कोई मुश्किलात तो नहीं है।
हमारे क्लास से मैं फारे हूँ तो ये दुकान अभी सामान डाला इधर।
पाकिस्तान और ईरान का रुख किया। एक मौके पर इनकी पाकिस्तान में तादाद 40 लाख तक पहुंच गई थी। आज भी 15 लाख पाकिस्तान में ही मुकीम हैं और वतन वापस जाने के मुंतजर हैं। इनके वतन वापसी के लिए अब पाकिस्तान, अफगानिस्तान, अक़वाम मुत्तहिदा के इदारे बराए मुहाजिरीन और ईरान के माबैन मुआहिदा तय पा गया है। इस्लामाबाद में पाकिस्तान की तरफ से वज़ारत रियासती और सरहदी अमूर के वज़ीर शहरयार अफरीदी ने दस्तखत किए।
ये प्राइम मिनिस्टर इमरान खान साहब का विजन था और ये क्लियर डायरेक्टिव्स है प्राइम मिनिस्टर साहब के कि हमने अफगान महाजरीन को इज्जत देनी है, उनको उनके मसाइल को एड्रेस करना, और क्या ही जबरदस्त इनिशिएटिव लिया जिसको पूरी दुनिया ने अपलॉड किया।
The last commencement on behalf of the government of Afghanistan has been to make possible efforts and every possible efforts for creating conditions for their sustainable reintegration.
So that's 4 decades that these refugees have benefited from the protection and hospitality of the government of Pakistan and the people of Pakistan.
जून 2019 तक 8,40,000 मुहाजिरीन अफगानिस्तान वापस जाना था, जिनकी दोबारा आबादकारी और रोजगार के लिए अफगान हुकूमत ने 13 लाख एकड़ अराजी मुख्तस की है। दुनिया भर में 7 करोड़ से ज्यादा मुहाजिरीन हैं। सिर्फ पाकिस्तान ही वो मुल्क है जो उन्हें कैंपों से बाहर आकर घुलने मिलने, कारोबार और रोजगार के लिए दीगर मौके हासिल करने से नहीं रोकता। इसमें 68% मुहाजिरीन कैंपों की बजाय मुआशरे के आम शहरियों की तरह जिंदगी गुजारते हैं। सदर अशरफ गनी की काबीना के 22 वजीर पाकिस्तान में पले बड़े और क्रिकेट टीम के बेशतर खिलाड़ी पाकिस्तान में ही परवान चढ़े। ये मेहमान नवाजी रियासत मदीना की याद ताज़ा करती है। ताहम 1994 के बाद आर्मी बरादरी की तरफ से इनकी इमदाद में कमी से पाकिस्तान के लिए ये बोझ नाकाबिल बर्दाश्त हो चुका है। पेशावर में स्कूल के मासूम बच्चों का कत्लेआम हुआ। दहशतगर्दी के वाकयात में हजारों पाकिस्तानी अपनी जान की बाजी हार गए। मंशियात और फिरका वारियत ने इस मुल्क की बुनियादें हिला डाली, लेकिन आफरीन है पाकिस्तानी कौम पर जिसने पेशानी पर शिकन तक नहीं डाली और अपने अफगान महाजर भाइयों को गले से लगाए रखा। नई हुकूमत ने वजीर आजम इमरान खान के विजन के मुताबिक अफगान महाजरीन की बहबूद के लिए खसूसी इक़दाम किए हैं और मुतल्लिका वजीर खुद कैंपों का दौरा कर रहे हैं।
इंशाअल्लाह बिइज़्निल्लाह डिसाइड ये हुआ है कि ये अफगान महाजरीन वापस जाने के लिए इनकी न सिर्फ रिपैट्रिएशन, रिहैबिलिटेशन, इनके लिए तमाम तर इक़दाम किए जाएँ। इसमें डोनर्स, वो तमाम सिग्नेटरीज और सबसे बढ़कर ये तमाम दुनिया की जिम्मेदारी है, प्रॉस्पेरस वर्ल्ड की जिम्मेदारी है कि वो इसमें अपना हिस्सा डालें और इनकी वापसी को यकीनी बनाए। और इस पर अफगानिस्तान की गवर्नमेंट बहुत सिंसियर अप्रोच के साथ आगे बढ़े। ये महाजरीन चाहे वो जिस मुल्क से उनका ताल्लुक क्यों ना हो, इनके गम, इनके दर्द, इनकी तालीम, इनकी सेहत, इनकी तमाम तर ज़रूरियात की जिम्मेदारी हम सब की है और इसमें हमें कोई कॉम्प्रोमाइज़ नहीं करना चाहिए और हमें इस लेवल पे नहीं जाना चाहिए कि फिर एक बच्ची की लाश सारे समंदर पे पड़ी हो और उसकी तस्वीर छपे तो लोगों का शऊर जागे।
मुस्तक़बिल अपना रास्ता खुद बनाएगा। अगर इस रास्ते का ख़िताम उस मंजिल पर हुआ जो अफगान कौम की उमंगों का मस्कन है, तो आने वाले वक्त में पूरे खित्ते के अमन की सबील डाली जा सकेगी। शायद इस रास्ते का तायन इस्लामाबाद में होने वाले सैफरी के मुआहदे पर अमल दरामद का ही नाम
silence for all those who have lost their loved ones across the globe, especially from refugees' perspective, please. 1 minute silence, please. Thank you. نحمده ونصلي على رسوله الكريم أما بعد فأعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي صدق الله المولانا العظيم. In the name of the most merciful and beneficent, on this auspicious occasion, I welcome you all, and what a privilege, to be honest, to work with a dynamic team of UNHCR under a dynamic and a very credible head who has got all the due ingredients. She is a genuine human and her entire team is incredible to the core. Rowan, Her Excellency and her team has proved her worth. And then His Excellencies from the diplomatic corps, my elders, brothers, sisters, Afghan refugees, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. And I will start it in such a way where we all need to understand that this is not an ordinary event. We are not here just to go through this particular initiative in a traditional way. We need to understand that whatever was portrayed and depicted, and behind that agony, miseries, frustration, and above all, those brutalities and barbarian approach which the entire refugees have witnessed, especially these Afghan refugees are witnessing since 4 decades. Let's not analyze it in an ordinary way, please. Why I went for that song? What does it show? What was the main crux of that song? Afghans, and just like every nation across the globe, they value their heritage, norms and culture. They can go to any extent for their pride, national pride. And that's what we are witnessing. If you challenge anybody's values, norms, culture, religion, above all their national pride, then you have to pay a very heavy price for that. In that particular song, the poet is knocking at the door of every Afghan that your turban, your pride, is waiting for you in your motherland. Come back to your motherland. Let me put that turban on your head. We might not be having urban cities which can attract you, but we have mountains. We have our norms, our values. Let's start our norms and values. Let's contribute and let's make that motherland of ours one of the best in the world. That's what they wanted to me. And my approach will be multilingual. Wale mas pingiro mashanos wanan. The race de parana da manawan. چې زه روایتي خبرې د سره وکړم ودې نه لاړ شم که د ما په زړه کې درد وي که د ما کې دو یقین الله نه ده نو انشاءالله باذن الله شملا به د بل چاله نه پرېږدم که خیر انشاءالله پخوا کې چې څه وشو هغې دپاره زه بې بسه یم ما څه نه شو کولی اوس د تا درد د تا تکلیف د تا عزت د ما د پرایم منسٹر د پاکستان او د ما ده انشاءالله باذن الله نه دې پرېږدم بل چاله الله په فضل سره UNHCR ایران افغانستان پاکستان او هغه ټول ډونرز هغه ملکونه چې د تاسو مدد کول هغه له دې احساس ضرور ده چې په تاسو تکلیف کې وو خو د هغې احساس ټولو نه زیات هغه سپینګیري له ده چې هغه په سترګو هر څه ګوري خو بې بسه ده هغه مور هغه مشره ادېګوله چې په افغانستان کې میل او کور او عزت و در بدر شو اما د خور د کد فارسیګان ده که پښتنه ده که ازبک ده که تاجک ده که ترکمنستان که د کومې قوم قبیلې د افغانستان ویلې نه ده د ما د خور لور سر نه ټکری لاړو اما سپینګیری در بدر شو اما ځوان در بدر شو هر ځای کې زه سوالګری خیرګری شوم نو پاکستان د ته دا یی د ما سپینګیرو چې 40 کاله ما د ته دروازې کلاوې ساتلې وې زه انسان یم یو کور کې مې یو سړی داسې پیداوېدل شي چې خاندان له ناسور جوړیږي چا ذریعې که تاسو له تکلیف د رسېدلی وي زه د نه او عمران خان او حکومت پاکستان د نه معافي غواړي خو و د ما سپینګیرو څرنګه د تا شملا ده د تا عزت ته د تا وقار ده د تا بنیاد هغې عزت ته داسې د پاکستان د نامې او د جنډې عزت ته ما بلخي صاحب له ووی چې پاکستان افغانستان نه څه نه غواړي زه مشرور یم زه به د افغان عزت کوم خو یو شی ته غواړم چې د پاکستان او د پاکستان جنډې عزت وکړو موږ ته دروازې کولاوي دي انشاءالله باذن الله The whole world has to realize that we don't need to wait for such pictures which can become an inspiration or which can wake up us from our slumbers. Do we really need to go through that agony which they have gone through? When Syrians were moving, one picture turned the table upside down, knocked at the door of every human on the face of the globe. She was lying dead on a beach. She could have been anybody's daughter. The world is emphasizing on nuclear weapons, biological weapons, chemical weapons, conventional weapons, non-conventional weapons. The world is busy in achieving their desired national interest at the cost of whom? At the cost of humanity, unfortunately. Humanity is bleeding. Humanity is pleading. The prosperous world
is giving more importance to everything related to them, and that is their due right. But my question is that those who are signatories of 1951 Convention and 1967 protocols, is it not their responsibility to come to the rescue? Why 85% refugees are being taken care? By whom? By the developing countries. With meager resources, with financial constraints. I'll give you an example of Pakistan. We are going through a lean patch. In spite of that, hats off to the courage of the people of Pakistan. Since 1979 till this date, every government who ever remained at the helm of the affairs never ever compromised on refugees. The message is that if we are unable to protect humans, if we are unable to promote humans, if we are unable to resolve their issues, if we are unable to play a bridging role, what will happen? Today they are at the receiving end, and God forbid, God forbid, God forbid, if we ever come across such agony, even for 24 hours, imagine what we will have to go through. Why the world has become a silent spectator? Is it only the role of UNHCR, the hosting countries and donors? One movie, one prominent football team, any club, you name it, they single-handedly can do wonders. And I'll give you an example of Cristiano Ronaldo. Why can't we, in our own humble capacities, knock at their door and convey to them that this 7.8 or 7.2 approximately refugees across the globe, they are waiting for someone who can come and contribute in their humble capacities for their education, health, future. And the world leaders at different forums, why they are not realizing that one single gesture can turn the table upside down? Can't we come and sit and resolve their issues? And next question of mine is, United Nations General Assembly, at all levels, key stakeholders of this globe decide the future of the entire globe. Is it on their priority list to address their issues? When the UNHCR started giving them $400, the repatriation and the number of people started moving. But imagine back home, there is no such facility. They left everything, and you want them to go back. And if suppose, even if they leave, if they are not given any shelter, any respect, what will happen to them? So my humble submission on this day is not to go through the way or observe, we used to observe it the way it has been always taken in an ordinary manner. My Prime Minister and this government's sole objective and vision is to give more respect to humanity. Let's come out of our boundaries. Every religion, UN Charter talks about humanity. If we are unable to do the needful, who else is going to come to their rescue? If we remain more interested in our own interests, then humanity will be compromised. And if you really want to see your upcoming generations more progressive, and if you want to see this entire globe peaceful, then everyone has to contribute. And hats off to their resilience, hats off to their courage, hats off to their patience. I was telling UNHCR the other day that whenever a refugee wants to go to any part of the world, instead of showing respect, apathy, they are treated the other way around. Whenever any refugee approach any key stakeholder in this globe, there's an access problem for him or her. Camps are there. A host nation can do the needful, and they need to do the needful. But again, the bridging role is of whom? That has to be given due importance. I will not give you figures that what we have been doing. 68% are living outside camps. 32% are living in camps. 22 ministers of the present president of Afghanistan were born and bred here. Cricket team of Afghanistan. Majority of those who remained at the key portfolios in Afghanistan were given respect, everything in Pakistan. Pakistan will always go an extra yard for them. We share same values, culture, religion, norms, everything. But at this particular juncture, I must applaud and appreciate the role of Pope, the role of the Chancellor of Germany, Angela Merkel, and all those countries who have been contributing and are there to support this cause. And one thing more, that daughter of ours who came here and he said that I studied from ComSet, and that 17 years old boy, and that a man who came to Pakistan was hardly 17. And after 40 years, he is concerned about the youth, about their future. And then look at their eyes and their faces. When you go to those camps and when you interact with them, their expressions are heart-wrenching. I believe, let's hear the bell is ringing, calling us to the bright future. So let's join and unite together and prove it to them that they are as human as us. And it is our responsibility to value them, to promote their interest, and to protect them in such a manner the way we protect our own loved ones. If that is not the approach, I'm sorry then. The world will be polarized, divided, and humanity will be at a dragon's dawn. And who will suffer the most? Humans will suffer the most. I guess the humanity has forgotten the dark age, the brutality's barbarian approach, when humanity was pleading and bleeding. We don't need to witness such events again. We need to make it a priority. We need to mark it. And today when I was coming this morning, I was sharing the significance of today with my daughters. And I told them that imagine that whatever lifestyle you are enjoying here, imagine for a minute that I, along with your mother, are living in a camp, in a tent, where there's no electricity, no air conditioner, no facility at all. And your mom start working in somebody's residence as a maid. Your father leaves early morning to earn bread and butter, and you are not given any education, and you every second feel insecure. And then the youngest angel of mine, she is 6, and I told her That suppose if there is no money at home and if you are asked to go and beg, how would you feel? They had tears in their eyes. He said, Baba, is it really happening? I said, yes. When I was not a minister of SAFRON, I was as clueless as anyone else. I beg you all, in the name of humanity, please realize their problems. You can do wonders. In individual capacity, we can do wonders. For heaven's sake, the humanity is waiting for your positive approach and energy. Let's come out of our shells. Let's not restrict ourselves to only sects, religions, and our boundaries. The world has already become a global village. The world is in dire need of love and affection and respect for each other. And if we really want to contribute, the only humble submission I would make here is try to value humanity. Once we do that, majority of our issues will automatically be addressed. But if, and another message, I will give it in Pashto. For the 7 crore 20-80 lakh ke zyadatar Musalmanan pasmaish ki di. For toli dunya ki ogoro Musalman bani shikanjara titada. No zo ta khudi Allah wa Allah Rasul manan kiyo. Ema o tasu liderano wajena na ehla hukmaranano de wajena. Nan Musalmanano ke ittifaq nishta tod zyadta. Nan waqt ra ghaleda. Che inshallah hukmaranan kini o dunya sarada khabar ho ki che mutsam na wadu sirf de khpal kirdar o de khpal amal na sabit ku dunya la che musalman aman pasanda musalman de khair wala da musalman dahshatgard na da musalman drugs heroin ya da nur qato wala na da kayu sadera ki ghalat chi de matlab da na da che din islam galat ta no da di mumashano bane da. And I'll share it with you. Majority of the refugees are Muslims across the globe. An act of an individual in any part of the globe shouldn't be associated with the religion. Any act of an individual is an individual act. Had my leaders of the Muslim Ummah and had they given due importance to their own people and to humanity and to human dignity, our issues would have been resolved. Now this particular initiative is taken by my Prime Minister, that he is willing to play a bridging role. He is willing to reach out to all those who can contribute. And this is a message from here, from Islamabad to the entire globe, through diplomatic corps, through all of you, that we need to wake up. We need to start living for others. We need to give due importance to humanity. Enough is enough. Imagine the agony. I'll conclude it with this. Imagine the agony of that child which is going through pain, where he is bullied, where he sees no future, and where he is reminded 24/7 that you are neither a citizen nor you enjoy the same privileges, and he is kept at arm's length. And then what option he is left with? He'll become a scar on the face of humanity. Either he will become a suicide bomber, or he'll become someone whose sole objective will be to haunt humanity. Let's protect them. Let's make this world more meaningful. Let's realize our responsibility. Let's make it worth living. Long live humanity. Long live UNHCR. Long live all those who have contributed. Long live Afghan refugees. Long live all those refugees who are across the board, living in different countries of the world. Long live Pakistan. Pakistan Zindabad.